Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Like many of you, I could not watch the game last night as West Ham beat Lincoln City in the third round of the Carabao Cup, but I am joined by someone that you cannot see but you can hear. A bit like Jesus. X, how you doing?
Jeez, I've never been compared to that before, mate. Wow, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. Yeah, better for the result yesterday. Always nice to get through in the next stages of the cup, and yeah, all good as well. Thank you.
Well, let's talk about last night's game then. Generally, how do you think we played?
It's a bit of a tough one to judge, really. I mean, whilst we didn't, I thought we were in control for the majority of the game. Apart from the odd shot here and there, they didn't really have much pressure. There was a little bit of time where they had more of the ball, but we seemed completely in control. But we were completely in control without actually doing much, if that makes sense. So, like, we had a lot of the. I don't actually know what the stats were. I haven't seen them, but it felt like we had quite a lot of the ball. I felt like we would score at some point, but Ings missed a couple of chances he should have done better with. One in particular, a few final balls into the box weren't the right option, and we just sort of didn't really take as much. I didn't really create as much as we probably should have either. But yeah, I never felt we were going to lose that game, and obviously that was the outcome. So yeah, I think we just need to take the win and just move on to the next round and not dwell on it too much personally.
Well, let's talk about some individual players then. Obviously, a heavily rotated side by Divin Mubama. There's no youngsters in the team. We'll get on to that in a second. But was there anyone that you felt was good in particular?
I liked Mavropanos again. The two games that he's played now, I think he's showed good, attributes for a centre back: strong, pacey, good in the air. He seems to be a bit of a leader as well. If you watch him, because obviously we were behind the goal as West Ham fans, so you can see a bit closer the sort of conversations he's having with the keeper and with the other centre, with Ogbonna and stuff. I think his communication is good, which I think's been lacking a little bit recently at centre back. And so I thought he looked really strong. I thought Kudus looked really good again. He created chances. He's very good at running the ball. And what I like about him is that he was getting kicked all over the place, and he's quite resilient, which is a good sign. He got up a couple of times when he could have easily gone down. He was Salah, for example. He'd have been rolling around all over the floor, and he didn't, which was good. And I actually thought Cornet did all right. I thought first half he did some good runs, created a few opportunities, and I'm not used to saying he played well, but I thought he had a decent game, yeah.
Yeah, you're not used to saying that he played at all. Never mind. Well,
No,
I heard mixed reviews on Kiddy. I heard some say he was a bit of a waste of time, and others say that he was okay. He was better than those that say he was poor. Basically, some were saying he was really bad, and others were saying he wasn't that bad. Actually, he was all right. So it was interesting. Some of us certainly split opinions. And one player I've seen actually. Well, I'm not going to tell you if I've seen good reviews or not, because that'll just maybe give you an indication of what I want you to say. So, one player I've seen reviews on is Ben Johnson. What did you make of his performance?
I think he did all right. There wasn't anything that really made me question his performance. I think a couple of times he could have played the ball better. There was two opportunities I remember. One where I think it was Ings, had peeled off his defender and he should have slipped him in, and it was a terrible ball. I think he literally passed it straight to the defender. There was another time that happened. But I thought he was all right, to be honest with you. He didn't stand out as particularly weak in comparison to anyone else. I think he did a decent job.
And while I've got you, Ben Johnson, a lot of talk that, Conor Coventry and him, I like to separate them because I think they're both sort of different in regards to sort of like stature within the squad. And then a lot of talk that Ben Johnson's been told, or the club already decided he's not going to get a new contract. Do you think there's room for changing or reminding he may be offered a contract, or do you think that's it for him?
No, I think there will be time. I mean, the problem is it's got to be a change in stance from both West Ham and from the player himself. The player thinks that he's more deserving of a wage that represents a sort of regular first teamer. Now, whether he is a regular first teamer is debatable because he was for a period. He isn't at the moment. Sort of goes in and out a bit, doesn't he? Obviously, depending on injuries as well. I think they will try one more time. It's just how set he is on what wage he wants and how far West Ham are willing to budge. But in my opinion, it would be stupid to let him go. I know he splits fans' opinions, and there's some that just don't think he's good enough. I think he's good enough for a squad place, definitely. And you have to also bear in mind he's homegrown by West Ham, which is obviously an important factor now in squad selection. And I think he's still youngish, that he could still develop further. And I wouldn't give him a big contract, but if you can get him on the wage that probably West Ham thinks realistic, then I would go for it again. And I think the club would as well.
Who would have been your West Ham man and match last night?
Oh, it's a tough question. I don't think anyone particularly stood out, but I think I would go for Mavropanos. I think just that solidness at the back, and I think he won a lot of balls in the air, and particularly when you play lower division sides, they're a bit more physical in their attacks and stuff, and I think he handled that side of it well. I know he played for Arsenal for a few games, but obviously it's only his second game for us, and I thought I think he looks solid, and that he's not going to take time to adapt to the league. So yeah, I think I'll go with him.
Was there anyone that disappointed you?
I thought Fornals could have been done a bit more. I think it's difficult to know what his best position is, because obviously he was a bit more central in that game, and he sort of didn't really get involved at all. Then he sort of switched back and forth with Kudus a bit to see, if that had any impact. And I didn't think he really did a great deal. So yeah, I think maybe from him. I thought Ben Rama was good in parts, but bearing in mind he can, on his day terrorise Premier League defenders. I thought he could probably have had a bit more of an impact against League One defenders. And Danny Ings, he's just such a frustrating player, because I know you were a big fan of his before he joined the club, and I would have been. When we signed him, I thought that was great, proven Premier League goal scorer across a number of teams, different styles, different, up at Liverpool, down at Southampton, Villa, proven he'd scored all over the place. But for West Ham, he's just seriously lacking in confidence. I don't think the system particularly helps him, but even when he gets chances, that one he put wide. I don't know if you've seen the highlight back or not, but he should have done better with that finish. It's just frustrating, because once he gets one or two goals, like most strikers, it might kick him on, but he's just not getting them at the moment, and obviously he's not getting the chances to play very often. So when he does play, he's got to sort of make his impact, and I think sadly for him and for us, he hasn't done that for a while now.
Yeah, I still think he thrives in a front two, if you like, but struggles when he's on his own. And when, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but when Mubama came on last night, was there a difference to Danny Ings when he had Mubama up front with him compared to on his own?
Yeah, I think he did play a bit better with Mubama up there. I think he seemed to almost know what he was doing more, if that makes sense. Which is a funny thing to say about a professional footballer that's getting over $100,000 a week and stuff. But when he had Mubama alongside him, he did seem to sort of know positionally where he should be more. And I think Mubama, in my opinion, is more suited to being the lone forward than Danny Ings is, and so. Obviously you've got a complete difference in terms of experience and even things like wage and that. But I think I personally, if I was Moyes now, I would be bringing Mubama on ahead of Ings if we were going with one. But if you're going to go chasing a lead or play two, then obviously Ings has his strong points being in that system.
Speaking of Mubama, I think there was a lot of frustration from West Ham fans last night. I say lack of youngsters is a very general thing, but I think Mubama in particular, I think there's a frustration with him not getting game time, whereas it'd be nice to see, whether it be Lewis Orford or George Earthy or Callum Marshall, I think there's more of an aggressive frustration, if you like, towards the lack of inclusion for Mubama. And I'm aware he came on, but, you reported in the summer that sort of Mubama was sort of given assurances he would get minutes at West Ham this season, so he's not going out on loan, he's part of the squad. But there's a belief, if you like, that he's not really getting those minutes. Where do you stand on the whole Mubama/Ings/striker scenario at West Ham?
Yeah, I think personally Mubama should have got a bit more than he has done. I think, as I said, he's more suited to that lone striker role, and I think games have been more suited for him to come on than for Ings, and that's why I can understand that frustration that he has hasn't got those minutes, and like you say, it'd have been a bonus if the likes of Thea Marshall and Orford and so on could have got time yesterday, but that would have only been really in the sense that it would be good to get them experience. With Mubama, it's the same, to get him experience, but actually I think at this point in time he would be a more useful player than Ings. I don't know if I'm being even harsher on Ings than I need to be here, but even Callum Marshall, just to give him a go yesterday, I think would have been a nice touch, and maybe have Ings on the bench out of the three of them. So, but like I said earlier, I'm contradicting myself a little bit. He needs to get goals. I think once he gets a couple of goals, he will start to improve, because I think his confidence is shot. But at the moment, if I'm being, purely for what's best for West Ham, I think Mubama should be ahead of Ings in the selection choice. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, through to the fourth round, we went Arsenal at home in the next round. Were you disappointed with that, or? Because I'll be honest with you, when I seen it was Arsenal, I almost, for about 3 seconds, I went, oh. But after about that 3 seconds, I was like, do you know what? I'm looking forward to this one. The Declan Rice thing is almost sparked a rivalry, but it's like, see, it sort of reignited something, if you like, and I'm really looking forward to this game now.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit like you. Me and Dave and Anthony Houghton, for those that know him, sat in McDonald's afterwards, after the Lincoln game, watching the draw on our phone, and we were literally saying it's going to be either Arsenal, Manchester United, or one of the big teams that are still left. And obviously that then happened with Arsenal, and my first reaction, and all of our reaction was, oh God, of all the draws, we could have got, I know, Port Vale and something like Mansfield and some of those teams that are still left. But then I thought about it, and I thought, well, it's at home, which I think is much better than it being away, obviously. Yeah. So that's one thing. And then I thought, well, so are we, but they are going to be at a real peak time of their fixtures. Champions League. They're going to be having, obviously, the league and the game, the same amount of games as us, but for them, their priorities are different. For us, a League Cup, I think we would take as seriously. Whereas for them, if you look at their team yesterday, a lot of their big hitters, and I know we changed our team a lot as well, but a lot of their big hitters were on the bench, and so I think, maybe a home game against them, as you say, the Declan Rice stuff adds a bit of spark to it. If they do play a weakened team, if we then play a stronger team, it's not necessarily the worst draw, but I would have much rather have gone to Port Vale or Mansfield or somewhere like that.
Yeah, quite agree. Anyway, Saturday, Sheffield United, big. Well, I'm calling it an important game to get back to winning ways, if you like, but a big day for the West Ham way.
Yeah, massive day, mate. Massive. Thank you for mentioning. So, yeah, got our first pre-match event at our new venue, Hackney Wick, the Colour Factory at Hackney Wick, which is literally next door to Hackney Wick Station. It's just to the other side of a wall. So yeah, we hope to see some people there. We've got Ian Bishop alongside Martin Allen, which is a great combo. Obviously, they were great together in the 90s as midfield players, but they're also great together off the pitch as well. You can get unlimited drink if you wish, or you can just pay an entrance fee, a cheaper entrance fee than we ever have had before, just to sort of buy your own drinks and watch the halftime. Not the halftime, sorry, the pre-match show. So yeah, we'll have the game on. That's the early game. Will be on the screens. Good music, good food. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some people there. And yeah, big game for West Ham as well. As you say, it's just hard to know whether it's a good time to play them or not. An 8-0 defeat, you could turn around and say it's brilliant because their confidence is going to be shattered. But on the flip side, things can only get better. They've got to prove themselves now, haven't they? As they're not going to be Premier League duds. So it's hard to know whether it's a good time or not to play them. But yeah, exciting nonetheless.
For our subscribers that attended the event for the Conference League final, you might be thinking, is the same venue? So the Colour Factory is the one that we attended for the Conference League final back in June. Is that the same event? So if you went there and enjoyed it, you're going to enjoy this one as well. Tickets are just £15 for like for all this stuff X said, or you can upgrade yourself to the VIP package and get all you can drink as well. We'll put the link to the ticketing website in the description of this video. X, I think Moyes has got two big decisions to make on Saturday. First of all, does he keep Nick Agard in the team or not? And should he drop him, who does he bring in?
I have been really debating this myself, but it feels a bit harsh on Aguirre because obviously we've all been big fan of his since he's joined, and he is a good centre back. Let's be honest, he wouldn't have the attention he's been receiving from other clubs if he wasn't. But I think right now, on the fact that Mavropanos has played how he has the last two games, and how Aguirre has been at fault for a number of incidents now, I think the benefit of having a squad like we've got now is that you can do that if a player is not performing as well as they perhaps expect them and they expect of themselves. You can bring them out for someone that is equally as good. In the past, we've not really had that luxury. If you're going to take out someone that wasn't performing, you're bringing them out for someone that probably wasn't as good. Whereas it's, if you was to compare Aguirre, Mavropanos and Zuma, they're all sort of, I would say, a similar standard of centre back. So you go on form, and for me, I would bring in Mavropanos for Aguirre. Yeah.
So would I. The second big call, it's a weird one because it's Souček or Kudus, and obviously they're completely different players. But I actually think Souček's having a really good season, to be honest with you. But
yeah,
Kudus looks really lively, albeit I've only seen him in one game, whereas you've seen him in two games. Who would you like to see start on Saturday afternoon?
That's a good question, mate, that one. And I've been one of Souček's biggest critics over the last year or so. So, it's a bit of a change in heart from me. But I agree with what you said just then. I think he's actually been really good this season. And obviously he's scored 2 goals now in recent games as well. So he's on a bit of a form for that. It's quite a tough call. If you'd asked me this last year, it would have been instant. It would have been kudos in straight away. But for me, I actually think, as you said, Souček has played well. And I don't know, it's really, really tricky because I think the balance with Paqueta on the left isn't quite right. There's something that just doesn't fit with those midfielders. So if you took Souček out and put Kudus, then you could move Paqueta more central and then have Kudus on the side, which gives more balance, I think, in terms of the midfield. It's a real, real tough one because obviously James Ward-Prowse as well. Souček, he's going to benefit from those balls in. So I don't envy Moyes. I think what I would do is I would bring Kudus in. I would have Souček on the bench, and I would be bringing him on at some point, maybe 60 minutes or so, maybe earlier. But it's a tough call, and I'm saying that with not a massive amount of conviction. I can see an argument for either.
Last question. Can I get your score prediction for Saturday, please?
I think we'll win 2-0.
Perfect. I'll take that any day of the week. I'm between 3-1 and 2-0. I think we'll win by a 2-goal margin as well. I'm just deliberating which one. I think it depends if Aguirre starts. If he starts, then that's the Sheffield United goal sorted out. But we'll wait and see. But X, thank you very much for joining me.
No, my pleasure, mate. Always good to talk to you, Gio, and well done on all you're doing.
If you guys at home have enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up under it. Subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat, and I will catch you in the comment section.